Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Going to the gym can be discouraging, especially if you're putting in the work but barely seeing changes. But with Tonal, you can actually see your progress with every workout. Tonal provides the convenience of a full gym and the expertise of a personal trainer anytime at home with one sleek system. Designed to reduce your mental load, Tonal is the ultimate strength training system, helping you focus less on workout planning and more on getting results. No more second-guessing your technique. Tonal gives you real-time coaching cues to dial in your form and help you lift safely and effectively. After a quick assessment, Tonal sets the optimal weight for every move and adjusts in 1-pound increments as you get stronger, so you're always challenged. Tonal lets you choose from a variety of expert-led workouts, from strength to aero hit to yoga and mobility, to keep you coming back for more. For a limited time, go to Tonal.com to get $500 off your Tonal purchase, plus a free 4-year warranty. That's Tonal.com for $500 off, plus a free 4-year warranty. Tonal.com.
This is a Hat Trick podcast.
Oh, lovely.
Welcome to In the News This Week, the podcast from some of the team who've worked on Have I Got News For You?
I'm Emerald Paston.
I'm Mike Rayment.
I'm Queenie Miller.
And I'm Jack Harris.
We'll be taking you through the big and not so big stories in the news this week when the TV show can't.
Think of it like this. If the TV show has all the glamour of Wimbledon Centre Court, then we're Wimbledon Bus Station.
What a place.
Before this record, I asked if they had a bus station, because I just assumed everyone in Wimbledon got Ubers everywhere.
There's been a lot of action at Wimbledon bus station, isn't there? Because there've been all the tube lines have been closed.
Oh.
This isn't a joke.
It's a top story.
It's a genuine
breaking news.
They've been moaning
from
about
Jack's
it
neck of the woods.
You know, Wimbledon said, well, it's like the one time you actually need the trains to work, because it's the only time people go to Wimbledon, unless you're going to see your really rich mate. And they're not bloody working. So the bus station has been in action.
But hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we all doing?
Very good. We missed you, Queenie.
Thank you. It's a 1-in, 1-out situation, as Mike's not here this week.
Yeah, just like what Labour want with France.
Nice.
Boom.
I actually paid Emerald a lot of money to try and keep Queenie out, but actually did nothing about it.
Yeah, we've got a strong special relationship,
Yeah, there you go.
me and Emerald. So
Very strong.
can't be bribed, unfortunately. So just as I was off last week, Mike has taken a leave of absence this week, and I'm hoping it's not because he didn't finish painting his new Warhammer army. But anyway, he sent a voice note. Has he sent a fax? Is that
Wouldn't put it past him.
He's paged us.
Are we going to get a robot voice from his fax machine?
Let's hear from him.
Dearest colleagues, valued friends, and Jack.
Yeah, okay.
Apologies I'm not with you guys tonight. I've actually not been feeling well since I went round Queenie's for that mushroom Wellington.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in my absence you're having loads of fun talking about things like the TikTok, the end of Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, you know, and all the other things I've Googled for this voice note that I really don't care about. I'm mostly disappointed not to be there this week to talk about my favourite political oddballs, Elon Musk and Jeremy Corbyn, who are in the news this week for starting their own political party. Not together, of course. That would be mad even for them. Although when you do think about it, they do have a lot in common. Both hate the EU. Both dress really badly. They're both complete humour vacuums. And they both have the emotional range of a can of tuna. So maybe not the worst idea. Of course, we can't just criticise our politicians. We also need to acknowledge when they've done something good, like Parliament's brave decision to prescribe Palestine action, just in time for police to be able to arrest an 83-year-old retired reverend. So perhaps she can explain to our government the difference between civil disobedience and terrorism, and while she's at it, arses and elbows. Anyway, have fun. And in the traditions of the show, I hope you've replaced me with a hilarious inanimate object, preferably not a tub of lard. Kind of done that. Do you want maybe something cool? Like a Warhammer model?
Oh my
that's
God.
pretty cool. Actually, that's a good question for you. If you three were being replaced with an object on Have I Got News For You, what would you want to be replaced by?
Oh.
Spoiler, I don't care.
I love the question.
It's a good question.
I had mine immediately. I don't know about you
What?
three.
Go, Queenie.
Well, mine would be Liz Truss.
The person?
The inanimate object.
Oh, nice.
Way.
I would quite like a Liz Truss Toby jug. That'd be quite a good thing to have.
Well, I was going to say Jack, tub of chocolate-flavoured hummus.
Oh, I'll take that.
Like, yeah.
Take that.
And I think me, just an emerald. Is that too boring?
No, it's expensive.
I don't know.
That's nice.
The show does not have the funds.
Oh, the budget wouldn't cover it.
I'm glad he mentioned the prescription of Palestine Action, because when Rupert Murdoch's diary has been saying it's a misuse of the law, and then like a Labour government headed by a woke human rights lawyer has been the one who's distorted the law to sort of chill dissent and effectively criminalise protest. You know we're in the shit on all angles.
It's a funny one because you're right. It kind of flips the script on who's having a go. Because you know if this was done 2 years ago, Keir Starmer would be the first one to stand up there and go, you know, or maybe he wouldn't because he'd be like trying to tread this really fine line of like seeming like he's like tough on law and tough on all that sort of stuff.
I was actually on the Palestine Action sort of website before it got taken down doing research. I promise, doing research. That's what I have to say. And I wanted to read out what they describe themselves as. Palestine Action are a militant organisation which engaged in direct action and civil disobedience, primarily directed at property and infrastructure under the banner Votes for Women. Oh shit, sorry, wrong tab. That was the Wikipedia page for the suffragettes. And I'm sleeping well knowing that the weapons factories are tucked up in their beds safe tonight.
Listen, if anyone needs protection, it's BAE Systems.
It's Elbit Systems.
That little startup company, they're just
poor little babies.
Little scallywags trying their best.
So let's get into round one, where the big story this week is that after a pretty shambolic week, Keir Starmer has got quite a lot on his plate. The PM's to-do list is getting even longer with varying degrees of priority and no doubt plenty of completely pointless colour coding that took him ages to do. That's not a dig on either of you two, who I assume are that type of person.
Hey, listen,
your GCSEs.
I love stationery. I can't help it.
Do you actually, Jack?
Are you going to bond about stationery now? I wish I didn't bring it up.
I love stationery.
I love stationery.
What have I done?
I'm not writing with
my
anything other than a
God.
Muji pen.
What have I done? Moving on.
Sorry.
So, other than getting through a self-help book on how to deal with crying colleagues, after completing the pre-reading of What is Emotion, what's Starmer's top priority, guys?
Well, I think today, the thing that you actually can't avoid is Macron's state visit. Which is
the French are coming.
The French, they've arrived, Queenie.
They're on shore.
It's all like Charles and Macron's big thing. But then you've also got Starmer just sort of like scuttling along behind them, sort of trying to get a little word into Macron, being like, sort of, can we do this migrant deal? Because the migrant deal they're trying to get across is like, seems like it's nearly there, but it's this...
Is the headline like one for one? Yeah. It's like me and Mike this week.
Exactly.
Macron like really just recently did a speech in the House of Commons and he got a couple of standing ovations. He ended his speech with, "Long live the United Kingdom, long live France." I feel sorry for Charles because when he hears "long live," he's about to stand up, isn't he?
Oh,
yeah.
And then "long
it's
live
like his
United,"
trigger
to
words.
sit back down.
It's like when you wave at someone and then they're waving at someone behind you. That's the feeling he would have got.
100%, that's what he's doing. And Camilla just puts a little hand on his knee.
Not you.
It's happened again.
Yeah, it's not a welcoming, it's a patronising hand. You stupid idiot. Thinking that for you.
Wow.
And I was reading this morning that he went on a little carriage ride with Charles and Camilla in Windsor Castle.
Sounds like a punishment.
But when they got to Windsor Castle, apparently they were going to be shown items relating to France.
Oh my
which
God.
you think, is that just lunch? They just got a couple of baguettes and a cheese board.
3-pack of garlic from
essentially.
Sainsbury's.
Yeah, right. What are items relating to France? And like, if someone showed me items related to the UK, I'd just be like, all right, great, thanks. Where is lunch? More importantly, where is lunch?
Yeah, it would not be the lunch, would it?
No. Do you think it's like one of those party games where you cover a tea towel with like loads of different items and then you have to memorise them and take it off?
Oh, that's a great question. What would the tea towel be? Because I know a lot of people have the royal family on their tea towel.
I think it would be one of those like primary school tea towels where your kids draw their own face, but it's the royal family and they've all drawn their own face.
Oh God, they'd be so bad at drawing, wouldn't they?
It would be terrible, yeah.
Prince Andrew would draw himself with like loads of muscles and like kind of like
God, yeah.
really hench, wouldn't he? Kate would try way too hard and it wouldn't be as good as she thinks it is.
Kate's shading.
Well, no, obviously she gets someone else to do it, doesn't she? She photoshops it and then gives it back and they're like, you know, it's just a pen and pencil you're supposed to do this.
I think the littlest kids would actually be the best.
Prince Harry's would just look like a potato if he's included on the tea towel.
I know that. I think there'd be a corner cut off of it.
Yeah, there's like a big hole.
I saw that Macron is going to be meeting with Tory and Lib Dem leaders, and then Reform have got very angry. So they've said this is an outrageous and deliberate snub.
And Macron was like,
And
yeah.
I assume Macron's team responded with, mais oui, and whatever the French equivalent of duh is.
I also love the fact that they're like, well, we really want to chat to him. It's like, he'd hate chatting to Macron.
Yeah, I thought his whole thing was like, we hate Europe.
I mean, I sort of get it, because they are, in all of these sort of like imaginary polls, they're leading it, but they still have only got 4 MPs. So the Green Party have got
and it's
as
going
much
down.
of an argument. They're trying to keep it at that level the whole time. Classic Reform kicking off about it.
Just to get another headline.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's working. We're talking about it.
I know.
We're the suckers.
Anything else on Starmer's to-do list? The economy is probably, I'm crossing my fingers here, on his list.
Hope so.
Is it something that Starmer wants to prioritise, do you reckon?
I think they just don't want to talk about it. I think, again, the Macron state visit has probably done them a favour, because over the weekend it was all like, okay, how are they going to raise the money? And the answer is just they've just got to raise taxes, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like their policies at the moment to save money are like, what new group of people can we piss off the most?
Yeah. They're like, okay, people cared about the pensioners, they cared about disabled people. Surely they can't care about disabled kids.
I like the fact that then they go, okay, disabled kids might not work. What about the mega rich? And the thing about the mega rich is like, do you know there's the guy who's the phones for you billionaire?
Yeah, who supports Labour, right?
He's gone from Tories to Labour.
It's not a very big jump,
Not
to be
right now.
fair.
He was in an article this weekend where he said he was nervous about the wealth tax. And he said it's not because he's happy to pay tax, but his thing was that he thought it was going to cause too many people to leave. And his advice for Starmer, I think they are quite close actually, like he does speak to him. He said that he should be bolder in his second year as Prime Minister. And he said, I'd be a bit like a version of Trump.
Oh, fucking
Who's
Christ.
smart and who's humanitarian. So basically,
What?
I think he's saying a version of Trump that is smart and humanitarian. So basically,
Oh, I see.
not Trump. Is what you're saying. And I think it's because he's saying that Trump basically just like forces things through and doesn't really listen to people and just does stuff.
That's because he changed a bunch of laws for him to do
Yeah.
that.
Right. It sort of seems like an insane person to compare him to and be like, do you know, if your premiership's going really, really bad, do you know who you should model it after?
Yeah.
Have you heard of a little upstart guy called Donald Trump?
Have you ever considered presidency?
Yeah.
Emerald. What's
Yes.
on Starmer's... I'm asking this like you know, like you've got insider information, which I can only assume is true. What's on Starmer's priority list when it comes to the other political parties, do you reckon?
Wow, it feels like there's a few things going on there. This week there's been a potential other left-wing party getting started, slightly jerkily, I would say. So Zara Sultana, who was a Labour MP, now she's an independent MP. She posted a tweet that said that she and Jeremy Corbyn were going to be leading a new left-wing party. And it seems like all of this has been organised on WhatsApp, which we know from hen do experience, stag do experience alone, it gets very messy on there.
And very expensive.
confusing.
So I'm
Very expensive. So it seems really unclear if Jeremy Corbyn actually wants to co-lead this party with her.
Well, it took him a few days to release any sort of statement, didn't it? But then when he did, it seemed that the language is quite specific of co-founding.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. Imagine starting something and then someone being like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to be co-leaders together. Really nice you started it. Hey, great work. Love the fact you put that announcement out. But co-leading.
It might be a good idea for them. Now you've mentioned a hen do. She'd be excellent at organising a hen do. Oh my
she'd
God.
be terrible.
No, I
She'd
went
be
on one
absolutely
really
awful.
recently, and you need to be so like militant and like
You do,
believe
but
in
you
it.
also have to take into account other people's views and not be totally stubborn in everything you're going
Disagree. We wouldn't have gotten anything done if the people running this hen do
for. Okay.
weren't
You
running
can do
it
a
like
hen
the
do like
Navy.
that, but you wouldn't enjoy it, essentially.
I enjoyed it.
In one of the papers, they had some of the chat that was going on in that WhatsApp group. And my favourite quote is from one guy in the group. And he said, "Sorry, guys, but am I missing something here? What on earth is going on?" And I want that on a T-shirt. I just need that on a T-shirt
Yeah,
for my
That's
life.
brilliant.
I don't know if you read that all the Reform MPs and Nigel Farage, who had a little cordoned off bit at the Spectator party apparently, saw the tweet from Zara Sultana and celebrated at the idea of having a new Corbyn party, because there's like this massive amount of, I think there's a poll out there, like 18 to 24-year-olds would all go and still vote for Corbyn. Like the Green Party would lose loads of votes. Labour would lose loads of votes.
I think they're having a nice little guffaw at the Spectator party.
Another party that Starmer might be concerned about at the moment are the Lib Dems, because Ed Davey's gone on the attack. He said, you can see Starmer almost sleepwalking to becoming continuity Rishi Sunak, which is a very pithy line.
Ouch.
Until you realise that Ed Davey is just a continuity Mr. Bean.
Hey, that's mean to Mr. Bean.
I almost said Mr. Blobby as well, then I felt like that was too mean.
That is more accurate.
On Lib Dem news, I don't know if you saw Nick Clegg talking today. He obviously used to work for Meta, but he was talking about fake news. And he was basically saying that algorithms are not the things to blame, it's humans. And he's like, it's quite funny, some of his quotes sort of saying, you know, altering algorithms won't do anything because it's deep in human nature to enjoy gossip and lurid headlines.
Yeah, he said, we are not nice. Human beings are not always nice and never, ever have been.
It just makes me think, who hurt you, Nick?
Plenty of people, I think.
Talk me through it.
Or I kind of think, you know how if someone makes a very general statement about the world, you can kind of find a tiny clue about their own character in there. I can't do that with this statement. It's really hard.
That's sort of broken my brain. I can't tell whether it's something that Starmer would say to keep towing the middle of the line that he thinks he's walking, or if it's really profound.
Hey, guys, ever thought
Hey,
about
guys,
this?
has
How
anyone
about
ever thought
humans
maybe
aren't nice?
humans are not nice?
God, shit, Nick. All that time in California, you're so enlightened now. No, that is what happens. If you spend enough time in California, you will talk out of your ass. But what I quite liked is that the conference was called Words Matter, which I thought was pretty rich coming from Nick Clegg, former advocate for abolishing tuition fees, who, if you're a student at that time, you know, his words, they no matter, brother. As they say in California.
I thought you were going to do a Jamaican accent. It's like, this is dicey, but I respect the creative choice.
The only other thing I'd quite just like to tag on the end is like Starmer, what should he be worried about? Boris Johnson's always going to be somewhere in his brain. I think he's always somewhere in MP's brain somewhere. At some point.
Like a poltergeist?
Like a chip.
At some point in the year, he just pops up and it's
It's like a chilly gust of wind. Like, oh God.
He comes into my mind whenever I think of the Peppa Pig thing, when he was trying to look for the page when he's doing his speech, when he goes, apologies.
Oh yeah. That was really good.
My apologies. I always think that whenever I'm to apologise, my apologies. That's when he comes into my mind. He comes into people's minds at different other points.
Why are you talking about him?
The reason I'm talking about him is because he was in an interview, he was doing a conference, and they were asking, like, what's the advice for reform? And he was like, hey, don't mention them, basically. And he wouldn't name Farage, he wouldn't name the Reform Party as a classic bit. So they said to him, well, would you come back and help the Tories? And he said, no, he's not going to come back because he's got to pay for his wife's kitchen refurbishment. The hero of the Tory party goes, yeah, I've got to pay for that sink. So, you know what? I'll leave you to it.
To be honest, I didn't think things could get worse for the Tories, but if he did come back, that would be worse.
But there was a couple of articles about the public focus groups all saying, can we get Boris back? But in reality, he would come back and everyone would go, yeah, they miss him because there's such a shower now in House of Commons.
Jack, something you have to remember is human beings are not always nice and never ever have been.
Exactly.
Hello, Cody Darla here. You might best know me from my internet videos, which involve me impersonating such hellish figures as Donald Trump's advisor, Elon Musk's babysitter, and a right-winger who screams, "Think about the fish!" But I also host a comedy news podcast called The Truth in My Opinion. Basically, if you're the sort of person who wants to keep abreast of what's going on in the world, but quite literally can't stomach listening to the news for more than 5 minutes, then The Truth in My Opinion is for you. Because it's 5 minutes long. Less for the news hungry, more for the news peckish. Yum yum. Catch The Truth in My Opinion every Wednesday and Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Welcome back to In the News this week. It's time for round 2, where we've each brought a story from the past week that we think would be perfect for round 2 of the TV show. Emerald, you're up first. What have you got for us this week?
So I've got a little segment for you guys today, and that segment is called Emerald's Restaurant Rundown.
Oh my God.
That scared the shit. I thought that was the Boris Johnson poltergeist.
Maybe it was.
I thought I had something was going on in my brain.
Okay, right. So I've got 3 restaurant-related questions for you, and they relate to a recent news story. So the first one is, who made an uninvited appearance at Buffalo Wild Wings Eatery in Iowa?
Is it a buffalo?
No, but you're close.
Oh, is it chicken?
Is it that giraffe that got airlifted out of the thing?
No,
The zebra,
sadly, not the zebra. You're right, it was a live chicken. Animal rescuers were called to this Buffalo Wild Wings to deal with a live chicken. Someone described him as a poor, confused hen, which sounds like a nice
side dish.
Yeah,
That sounds like someone finding me up in Newcastle when I'm really drunk, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he's a little poor, confused hen. Is that a Geordie accent? Oh, I keep on.
It was. Yeah, I love
every
that you
time.
do
I
it.
really
You're doing
screw
accents.
myself over.
There were some terrible puns made in the news story about it. So officials wrote, "What the cluck? Talk about a chicken on the wrong side of the road," which is a real mangling of that joke.
Officials said that. See, I can't stand when it's like police departments trying to get in on the joke. It's like, no, report it seriously. I don't care if you've had a load of fun.
Don't be in the bullpen on like rhymingdictionary.com.
Yeah.
You got to be solving crimes.
No, what you should say is that someone came and wasted police time by calling in us to come and fetch a chicken.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Rather than being like, way.
All I can say is you never get this kind of thing at McDonald's, mainly because the pink goo that they use was never alive in the first place.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And God love that pink goo.
Yeah, we all love it. Next question. What did Peter's Clam Bar on Long Island do with a 110-year-old lobster?
Made it the mayor?
Ooh, that does feel like a very American story.
Did they get him a birthday cake before boiling him alive?
Did they use him as an oracle to tell whether the US government was going to invade?
Did they get him a Stena stair lift to go into the boiling vat of hot water?
You guys are being too negative.
Okay.
With this 110-year-old lobster, they released him back into the wild.
That's also not a good idea, right? Surely he just dies immediately.
If anything, it needs
What's his purpose anymore?
So the owner of the restaurant released him to celebrate National Lobster Day and also Father's Day. He said, what a better way to celebrate Father's Day than freeing Lorenzo the lobster?
This is like if I was going to throw my nan in the lake for no reason. Happy Mother's Day.
So the town supervisor and the county legislator teamed up with this restaurant to pardon Lorenzo before releasing him into the ocean. I don't know why they're pardoning him.
Sorry, for on what charges?
I think lobster restaurants operate under the same rules as Guantanamo Bay. I think.
Right.
Come on, what is the charge?
There was no charge.
Being a succulent meal.
Oh, very good.
A succulent seafood meal.
Would you like your third and final restaurant rundown question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
What did a Norfolk Tory council leader post on Facebook while eating a steak?
Is it a photo or is it just posted?
It was a photo and there was a caption.
Like, take that, vegans.
I don't know.
Tell us, please.
So Norfolk County Council leader Kay Mason-Billig posted a photo of her tomahawk steak with the caption, "Wonder what all the poor people are doing."
What?
And it's now being referred to as Steakgate in Norfolk, and she's facing calls to quit. What do you think her excuse was for that comment?
Is she talking about the furry community when she's talking about poor people?
She was joking.
Oh, got it in one, Queenie.
Yeah, I thought so. I've used that excuse quite a lot.
She said the post was a joke, and like all good jokes, It only gets better the more she explains it. So she said, my husband and I sometimes called ourselves the poor people.
Okay.
It's a private joke as we live fairly modestly. So when we have a treat, we'll sometimes post about it. This is asking our friends if our friends wonder what we, the poor people, are doing. It's not intended to be about anyone else.
Oh my God.
It's so bonkers.
I'm actually quite impressed by the get out clause of what they've come up with there.
Yes.
Who should we refer to as the poor people? Should we say we're the poor people?
That's safest, I guess.
Yeah,
I think
go
so.
for that. Go for that.
And that's the end of Restaurant Rundown.
That was incredible. Thank you. Next, we've got a round 2 from Mike, apparently.
Oh.
Here we go.
Hi team, me again. Genuinely excited to be back here for round 2. And I'm not just saying that because I'm contractually obliged to do so. It's great.
You can hear it in his voice.
My favourite story this week for round 2, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's a man dressed as a cat creeping around Merseyside, freaking people out. No. Probably not even in the top 10 weirdest things to happen in Merseyside this week. So this has happened in a place called Wolsey Beach in the Wirral, where residents have reported seeing the man waving his arms, rolling around on the floor and coughing up making cat noises. One local told the BBC, never been so scared. Definitely need to get out more. While another told the Telegraph that they'd seen the man dressed as a cat growling outside the local harvester, which is the most disturbing cat sighting at a harvester since someone found a collar in the salad bar.
Oh my God.
Metro, keeping things in perspective as always, went with a headline, Panther Man strikes fear in Merseyside. Luckily, Lab Bible calmed things down with a more accurate description of figure in big cat gimp costume spotted in small local town. Google it. It's exactly like that. It's a man in a gimp costume who vaguely looks like a black cat. In fact, the Times have even compared him to a similar pest who was doing the rounds in the West Country a few years ago that the press at the time named, I don't know if you remember this, the Somerset Gimp. Or as he's better known, Jacob Rees-Mogg. So there it is. Is it a gimp? Is it a perv? No, it's Panther Man.
Mike's not here to tell us this, but the reason that story is so close to his heart is because he spends a lot of time in the Walthamstow area dressing as a cat and purring. And so I know he would really want us to be able to tell people that because they must have cut off his voice note to explain that afterwards. So
Thanks for that, Mike. And Jack, what about you?
My story is quite a big story. The Oasis reunion, which obviously was covered in a lot of the papers this weekend.
They've reunited?
Apparently so, because they're doing a 40-date tour and it kicked off in Cardiff. But one of the papers were quick to point out that they're actually staying, the Gallagher brothers, this big reunion all together, like really pally. They're putting them in hotels that are half an hour apart from one another.
That seems like a good idea.
I think it's a really good idea from the start, right? Before they'd even played their first gig, they're being kept apart. And then there was an article in The Guardian about some of the stuff that people are wearing to the gigs. And there's some good stats. Apparently, according to JD Sports...
JD Vance's little brother.
The lesser known of the JDs.
The term Oasis fashion has gone up by 913% in June. Which I love someone being like, got to go to a gig, just typing in Oasis fashion.
You're saying that like you don't do that, Jack, but it's very nice.
Blur fashion. I'll go for it.
Pulp fashion for me.
Oasis, the high street shop, has really missed a trick.
And the drink.
I bet they've got so many bucket-hatted men walking in looking very confused. Also, searches for Parkers are up by 1,850%. Which is amazing given that we've been going through like a heat wave in the last month or so. And they interviewed loads of people about their sort of outfits and stuff like that. And there was also a thing they asked, there's the 2 young female Korean fans who turn up, who apparently, their quotes, they were surprised at how many older people there were for the gig in Cardiff. Because in South Korea, only young women like Oasis. So they turned up and were like, who are all these 50-year-old bald-headed men interested? What? Surely it can't be for the same gig, which you just think they must have been so confused when they stepped in to watch that. The other thing I thought was sort of interesting about it is Oasis have said newspapers can use pictures from the Oasis gig for 12 months and then that's it. Which you sort of think, okay, bit of a boring in terms of rights and closes and stuff like that, but less boring for one guy who there was this photo of them coming out on stage and he got that picture tattooed onto his leg within 12 hours of it happening.
Whoa.
And the Mirror reports that he's identified only as Wayne So clearly he regretted the tattoo quite quickly. But like, what's he going to do after 12 months? He's going to turn into some sort of like Chuckle Brothers version, you know?
He's going to have to constantly be fair dealing it.
Constantly. Oh my
He's
God.
just making comments that require it to be in the show.
That's such a niche joke. That,
Should we explain what fair dealing is?
Okay, fair dealing is when you don't have the rights to use an image. You haven't paid for it, and the person that you're trying to get the rights from isn't letting you use it for broadcast. And so on the panel, in terms of Have I Got News For You, the hosts or guests need to say something that means that we've used it in a creative way. So whether that's a joke or like something that warrants it being in the show rather than it just being there.
Yeah. It's quite often commenting on the content that you see or how it looks.
Yeah, exactly.
You could probably get away with it if he keeps on saying how terrible the tattoo is.
If other people say it to him, that probably counts as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, as long as you got it out. The last little bit of this is that there was one guy who'd travelled from Dallas to go to see them in Cardiff, and he wore the full Man City kit. We're talking socks, shorts, shirt, which is absolutely amazing to think, how can I show my love for Oasis? As you turn up as a full kit wanker.
He's got a bag of balls.
Yeah, he's got cones. He's putting cones out.
He's running drills in the mosh pit.
But like you said, I was a little nervous. But you know what? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to look like a bellend.
Finally, it's time for round 3, the missing words round. I'm going to read out some headlines from the past week, and you just need to fill in the missing words. First up, civil servants spend 500k on what?
Is it comfy sit-at-home chairs? Work shy, bloody civil servants.
Bloody millennials.
Is it a 5-year rebrand to call themselves X before being told the bad news?
Do you know what? It's so close to that.
Oh,
Is it?
Is it civil servants spend 500k on positive PR?
Again, you're in the right ballpark. I'm going to tell you, civil servants spend 500k on full stop.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
Huh?
So the government have actually done this, but the headline was civil servants have published an 150-page dossier on how to use the dot in the government's new £500,000 website logo. They basically changed it from a full stop to being slightly higher up, like floating.
Oh, is this the .gov?
.gov.uk.
Hey, they also changed the colours.
Oh, fair enough.
Next, Jeremy Hunt claims Keir Starmer has taken what?
It's taken on his tips on how to appear human. It's going well.
I was going to say all his best moves.
It's taken his lunch money.
Close.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Well, maybe not. So, Jeremy Hunt claims Keir Starmer has taken his toaster.
Oh, no.
Oh, because he was living in 10 Downing Street.
Yeah, well, I mean, the delivery person didn't pick up his toaster, apparently, from one of these buildings. And apparently Jeremy Hunt said Keir Starmer hasn't given it back to him yet, so he's using it.
Do you know why? Because 100%, like, they're both the sort of people who have the perfect setting on the toast that know exactly how they want it.
Yeah, and that's the only thing they do right in their entire day. Final missing word. Are you ready? The White House to host what? Trump announces.
White Party, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
I can imagine him announcing that.
Is it White House to host Big Beautiful Bill? But Big
Is that a
Beautiful
guy?
Bill is his mate, yeah, from Mar-a-Lago. Big Beautiful Bill.
White House to host Hannibal Lecter's first state visit. Is that on the cards?
The real answer is the White House is to host a UFC fight, Trump announces, which makes sense with his appointment of what's her face?
The Education Secretary. Linda McMahon?
There we go.
Very different vibes, actually, Queenie.
Really?
WWF and MMA.
Doesn't he have some MMA people as well?
He does, yeah. Dana White, he's very close to Dana White.
Dana
isn't he?
White,
He's the
that's
UFC head honcho. Is that what they call him? Head fighter. Head shin kicker.
I'll take head shin kicker.
Yeah.
We posted this missing word round on our social media channels, and congratulations to Rogue Colonel on Instagram, who made us laugh with their response when they said, the White House to host the Hunger Games, Trump announces. It's a bit real.
Too real.
I think Melania would do really well in the Hunger Games if it was in the White
definitely.
House.
She'd be that woman with the big hair.
I've not watched it closely enough.
Eric's going first, isn't he?
I don't think they're in the Hunger Games. I think that's the point of the Hunger Games. It's the poor people that are in the Hunger Games.
Oh, they're just watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
And that's a fun note to end on.
Thank you for listening to In the News this week. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
For updates on the show, make sure you're following Have I Got News For You on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter.
You can also get in touch with us by emailing podcasts@hattrick.com. That's hattrick with 2 T's.
Make sure you're followed and subscribed to the podcast wherever you're listening to it now, and we'll see you here for next week's episode. Everyone say bye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Get on your bike, Jack. Niche Norman Tebbit reference for you there.
In the News this week is presented by Jack Harris, Queenie Miller, Emerald Paston and Mike Rayment. The producer is Diggory Waite. The executive producer is Claire Broughton. And the music is by Big George. In the News this week is a Hat-Trick podcast.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.